Welcome Taurus to your in-depth monthly forecast for February 2024 for the Sun or the Ascendant. I'm going to give you some standout details to look out for, but please stay with me. I will explore in much greater depth all the ins and outs, particularly relevant to your sign. And we have to be mindful of the planets that are in Taurus at the moment, Uranus and Jupiter, but equally your ruling planet. And Venus is going to make its way in the middle of this month, just after Valentine's Day, into the sign of Aquarius, where it will join not just with Mars, which is an exciting combination in itself, but also with the thrust, energy, and passion of Pluto. Whatever it is you want in terms of your big worldly desires, that's what this month is really going to serve up. A fabulous opportunity to grasp. Please stay with me as I go into this in more detail with you. You can ascend above this zodiac broadcast and understand the power of more serious astrology. If you give me 3 pieces of your personal birth data, of time, date and place, or date and place if you don't know your time, I can produce for you your life roadmap report, your character analysis. This is the foundation for all of our interactions in our lives. We're not totally ruled by it. We can work with it and evolve, but understanding it gives us so many insights to the patterns that have played out in our life so far. Also, you can get your 12-month forecast based on the moving planets in the sky and how they interact with your unique blueprint. Also, if you order with the link below now, you can get 30% off, but you also get my Zodiac, Love, Chinese and Indian Year 2024 booklets, totally free of charge. Please see the link below for more. So Taurus, as you come into February 2024, there is a real sense of excitement. You have a stellar lineup in your sister Earth sign of Capricorn. And House 9, particularly having Mercury there, which rejoined the sign of Capricorn, if you recall, on the 13th of January. Well, that's been really pushing you, along with Venus and Mars, to embrace a much more exciting and spontaneous approach to all sorts of relationships, particularly travel, higher education. You're being asked to step outside your comfort zone. But one of the things that's going to come up this month is very much to do with your role in life. The question really starts with the Sun being in the sign of Aquarius right from the start of the month, and it forges a very healing angle to Chiron on the 5th. If there is something within your inner thinking, how you program your thinking, that's stopping you from seizing some kind of big opportunity, that particular aspect can be very valuable to you. But also on the 5th, Mercury makes its way to the top of your horoscope, and so if there's anything to do with reskilling, retraining or applying for new jobs, that can be primed up perfectly at that time, particularly as Mercury forges a link with the newly arrived Pluto in Aquarius. Now, Pluto and Mercury is a very penetrating combination. If you did want to understand what your professional prospects were, or if you're working for yourself, who a major client could be, or if you've got a dream of being more entrepreneurial, how you would shape your idea, this combination is very exciting indeed. The new moon on the 9th can also help to set your intentions in terms of those ambitions, but there is a catch, because it's in a square with Uranus in your sign. Uranus has been pushing you full-time since March 2019, and there was a 5-month period in 2018, to really embrace a much more authentic side of your nature. Now, that's not to say you weren't being genuine before, but maybe that part of you that really liked comforting routines was a little bit too dominant. So what Uranus has been asking you to do is actually be a bit more risk-taking and edgy. But at times that may have created some instability, but it most certainly will have created a lot of excitement. And that's something that you could have been getting the hang of more and more. And the square between the new moon and Uranus in your sign just says that if you do want to make it all the way to the boardroom, it's going to be difficult if you are embracing Uranus's energy in a big way, because that's asking you to be more of a rebel, more individualistic. And the position of the new moon in your 10th house is asking you to be more conventional in your approach, even though it is in the future-oriented sign of Aquarius. Then Mars starts to apply to Pluto, and your desire to improve your earnings and the benefits that can come from that in a material context, it could surprise you that you may decide to make some trades. For example, if a job or an opportunity comes up that's particularly well remunerated, and it doesn't quite give you the scope to be as creative and individualistic as you would like, you may feel that trade is worth it. Now, for other Taurus people who've really enjoyed becoming more creative, free and independent, you may decide that working in any kind of big structure or corporate organisation is just not for you. And if that's the case, Uranus's influence can push you to be more determined to showcase your unique talents, but in your own way. But the financial rewards may be a little less. Now, of course, we have Valentine's Day on the 14th. The moon is in the 12th house of your personal chart. This could make you quite nostalgic, particularly if you're not with anyone at the present time. Of course, this event tends to get very commercialized these days, and also if people aren't in a relationship, it can become very wearing that the whole concept seems to be based on the assumption that everyone is in a relationship. But let's assume that you would like a relationship. Your ruler Venus moves to join up with Mars and also with Pluto on the 16th. And one of the best ways that you can connect with people, whether it is just socially or in a more potentially romantic way, will be through your work. You could meet someone professionally, someone from a different age group, or if you're in a relationship and it's been going along quite steadily, suddenly there could be a desire for it to become more formal. You could even be talking seriously about a property matter too. Now, the 16th to the 18th does see Mercury in Aquarius in a square with Uranus in your sign. If you're finding it hard to balance that part of you that wants to be free with that part of you that needs to conform, there could be some stress around this particular time. But the 19th sees the Sun move into your sector of friendship and sociability, joining up with the steady Eddy Saturn and also with Neptune, which are already there. That's followed on the 23rd by Mercury. Now, Mercury going into Pisces, if I'm honest, is not its best transition. It's detrimented here. The Sun in your 11th house for you is more about making sure that the connections you have with others are truly meaningful. And that is stress tested, to be honest, when both the Sun and Mercury meet the rather restrictive, potentially restrictive energies of Saturn. Also, with a full moon on the 24th, pretty close to Saturn, it's only 4.5 degrees away. If you have got some concerns about a long-term plan, a friendship, an association, you're not really feeling quite the connection you have in the past, it wouldn't be a surprise, because what Saturn can do is cool down the passion of the Sun. In some ways, I feel that Saturn applying to Mercury and Pisces can be very mutable and find it hard to sort of grapple with the detail of things. And what Saturn can do, although it could be a bit restrictive, it's actually asking you to really plan things carefully and systematically, Saturn. And if your thinking does feel a bit fluid about the future, to try to prioritise what's really essential for you. But if there is a weakness around any kind of relationship, whether it is a love tie or a friendship or a long-term plan, it will be tested to destruction by Saturn towards the end of this month. So, to summarise, this month can start off with you feeling that you really want to enjoy some freedom, some adventure, some travel, and some fresh scenes. So if you are travelling or away at the start of February, your timing is perfect. But the move of Mercury followed by the new moon and also Mars and Venus into Aquarius is asking you to think very seriously about your professional situation and your worldly aspirations. Then as the month comes to a close, if there are parts of your connections to others which are a little bit tender, they are going to be checked out. But if you get through that, then you can be sure that certain associations are really good for you, because you will think very carefully about the value that people have to you. And it's not just in the material sense, it's like feeling that other people understand you, because I feel since Saturn moved into the sign of Pisces last March the 7th, some people may have made way out of your life. You've realised that not all the connections and associations and friends you've had were actually quite as committed as you would have liked.